चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मा वर्चसे नानाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्ने जातवेदसे इदन्नाममा ॐ अयन्तेन्मात्मा जातवेदसेने ढस्वभटस्व चेदवर्धया चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मा वर्चसे नानाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्ने जातवेदसे इदन्नाममा ॐ अयन्तेन्मात्मा जातवेदसेने ध्यस्वभटस्व चेदवर्धया चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मा वर्चसे नानाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्ने जातवेदसे इदन्नाममा Fifth offering. ॐ अयन्तेन्मात्मा जातवेदसेने ध्यस्वभटस्व चेदवर्धया चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मा वर्चसे नानाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्ने जातवेदसे इदन्नाममा Atah Jal Sinchana, sprinkling of the water around the kun, first in the east, then the west, northern side, and then in the clockwise direction. Om Ariten Manyaswa, Om Anmaten Manyaswa, Om Saraswat Anumanyaswa, Om Deva Savitah Prasuyajam Patim Bhagaya Devyo Gandharva Ketapuh Ketam Naha Punatu Vachaspatir Vacham Naha Swadatu. Continue with key offerings. Om Agne Swaha Idamagne Idannamama Om Somaya Swaha Idam Somaya Idannamama Om Prajapate Swaha Idam Prajapate Idannamama Om Indraya Swaha Idam Indraya Idannamama. Ghee and samagri at this time. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyotih Suryah Swaha Om Saryo Varcho Jyotir Varchah Swaha Om Jyotih Suryah Suryo Jyotih Swaha Om Sajur Devina Savitra Sajurusha Sendra Vatya Joshanah Suryo Vetu Swaha Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotir Agni Swaha Om Agnir Varcho Jyotir Varchah Swaha. Silent offering. Om Swaha Om Sajur Devina Savitra Sajuratrendra Vatya Joshano Agnir Vetu Swaha Om Bhuragne Pranaya Swaha Iramagne Pranaya Irannamama Om Bhurvaya Vepanaya Swaha Iram Vayave Panaya Irannamama Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Swaha Iram Adityaya Vyanaya Irannamama Om Bhurdhuva Swaragni Vayavaditebhyah Pranapan Vyanebhyah Swaha Iram Agni Vayavaditebhyah प्राणापान व्यानेभ्यः इदन्नाममा
Om
आपो ज्योतिरसो अमृतं ब्रह्मा भूर्भुवः स्वरो स्वाहा ॐ यामेदां देवगणः पितरश्चोपासते तयामा मध्यमेधयाग्नि मेधाविनं कुरु स्वाहा ॐ विश्वानि देव सवितर् दुरितानि परासुवा यद्भद्रं तन आसुवा स्वाहा ॐ अग्नेनय सुपथाराय अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुरार्णवेनो भूयिष्ठान्ते नमौक्तिं विदेम स्वाहा. And at this time, we invite Pandit Prakash Ji to do our special mantras for today.
I'm going to ask all of you to chant together Pavamana Ahuti. I'm sorry if I'm taking your mic. No, fine. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Agna Ayumshi Pavasa Asurvo Jamisham Chena Ari Badhasva Duchunam Swaha Idamagnaye Pavamanaya Idanna Mama Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Agnirrishihi Pavamanah Panchajanyah Purohitah Tamimahe Mahagayam Swaha Idamagnaye Pavamanaya Idanna Mama Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Agni Pavaswa Swapa Asmi Varchah Suviryam Dadadri Mai Posham Swaha Idamagnaye Pavamanaya Idanna Mama Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Prajapati Natvadetanyanyo Vishwajatani Parita Babhuva Yatamaste Juhumastano Vastu Vayam Syama Patayorainam Swaha Idam Prajapataye Idannamama. Those mantras that we chanted, the foregoing mantras, are for purification of our entire being, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions and interactions. And now we chant two mantras for auspiciousness. Bhadram, auspiciousness for all of us. Wherever you are, whether you're in the mandir or you're viewing us online, may auspiciousness be a part of your lives. Ashta Ajahuti. Om Tvanuvagni Varunasya Vidwan Devasya Helo Vayasi Sishtvaha Yajishto Vahani Tamaha Shochuchano Vishwadveshansi Pramudhyasmat Swaha Idamagni Varunabhyam Idanna Mama. And if you turn your books to page 116, 115, 116, the last mantra in this series of mantras. Om Bhavatanah Samannasau Sacheta Savare Pasau Mayajam Him Shishtam Mayajim Patim Jata Vedasau Shiva Bhavatan Adyanah स्वाहा इदं जातवेदोभ्याम् इदं न मम. I'll chant some mantras for health. First of all, we are all aware that our dear Panadipakji lost his brother yesterday in Florida to a very unfortunate accident, a freak accident as it were. And wherever that soul is, we will chant some mantras for that soul and for the entire family in this their moment of bereavement. But first of all, for those our members who are suffering experiencing some kind of ill health, we ask God to remove their pains, their ailments, to remove whatever form of ill health that they're suffering, whether it's mental, is emotional, physical, or financial. We ask God, with this mantra, the next series of mantras, may you remove their health. Triambakam. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandana Mrityormukshya Mamrita Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandana Mrityormukshya Mamritat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandana Mrityormukshya Mamrita Swaha. We ask God to protect the bodies and remove any kind of deficiencies that may exist in all of us. Om Tanupa Agneyasi Tanvan Pahi Swaha. Om Ayurda Agneyasi Ayurme Dehi Swaha. Om Varchuda Agneyasi Varchume Dehi Swaha. Om Agneyan Me Tanva Unam Tanva Aprina Swaha. Okay. And I just heard Friday was your mom's birthday. So can you make an offering for your mom? A couple offerings. Mataji has been with us for quite some time. A devoted member to this mandir, a devoted member to the Mahila, and has helped in the educating, and has been an example, a model, a role model for all of us, especially our Mahila. Om Indrajiva Devajiva Jivayasam Sarvamayur Jivayasam Swaha. We ask God to bless Mataji, improve her ill health, and continue to have her amongst us. Om Sanma Sinchantu Marutaha Sampusha Sambrihaspatim Brihaspati Samaya Agni Sinchantu Prajachadhinacha Dirgamahayu Krinotu Me Swaha. And one more, Palita Nirvani, and please extend our best wishes to Mataji. Om Tachakshur Devahitam Purasta Chukramucharat Pashima Sharadaha Shatam Jivima Sharadaha Shatam Shrinuyama Sharadaha Shatam Prabhavama Sharadaha Shatam Madina Syama Sharada Shatam Bhuyascha Sharada Shatan Swaha. We also, in our midst, we've lost Bhai Sinat. Tonight is a viewing at Bergen Funeral Home on Rockaway Boulevard, 114th Street. Some of us were there last night, and some of you were there the 2 previous nights. And if you have some time tonight, please join the family over at Bergen Funeral Home. We say these mantras, we chant these mantras for the passing of Bhai Sinat, as well as the brother of Pandit Dipakji. Om Suryam Chakshur Gachatu Bhatmama Mana Dyam Chagacha Prativim Cha Dharmana Apova Gacha Yadi Tatra Tehitam Oshadheshu Pratitishta Sharirai Swaha. And the mantra is saying that after death, may the power of sight be absorbed in the sun. May the soul go to the atmosphere, other luminous regions, or come back to earth. May the soul go to the water or plants, assuming different bodies in accordance with its meritorious deeds. Om Ajubhagas Tapasa Tam Tampa Tamta Satchochis Tapatu Tamte Archihi Yaste Shivas Tanvo Jatavedas Tabhir Vahainam Sukratamulokam Swaha. And after death, may the Atma go prepare for the future. O soul, purify your karma and become such that with the energy of your brilliance, you may take birth where such elements of Agni and virtuous body take birth. One more mantra for our departed souls. Om Samgachaswa Pritibhi Samyamena Ishta Purtena Parame Vyoman Hitvaya Vadyam Panarastamehi Samgachaswa Tam Tva Suvarchaha Swaha. O Jiva, O soul, may the Creator governing the world grant you various roles through your cycles of rebirth, accomplishing your own desires and fulfilling the desires of others. May you reach the ultimate abode of Vidya. And today, for all families, Bhai Banesh, we are very pleased to have you amongst us. And for all our families, we chant this mantra, Saharidayam Samanasyam. May our hearts be alike. Samanasyam, your minds be alike. May we go forward as a family. Samanasyam avidveshan krinomi vaha. And may there be no enmity or hostility amongst members of the family. Abhiharyata, only love. And the same way, the kind of love that exists between a mother and a newborn child, may that love prevail amongst the members of all families. We're on page 122, the mantra, if you want to follow us. 122, 121. Om Sahridayam Samnasyam Avidveshan Krinomi Vaha Anyo Anya Abhihar Yata Vasam Jatam Ivagniya Swaha. For our parents and all others, our guests that come into our homes, Om Matri Devo Bhava Swaha. Om Pitri Devo Bhava Swaha. Om Atithi Devo Bhava Swaha. Om Acharya Devo Bhava Swaha. Thank you, Panita Nirvani. You can resume the
Thank you, Pandit Prakashji. And we're starting back on page 94 of the Vedic Aradhana. And this is ghee offerings. Om Agni Swaha Iram Agni Irannamama Om Somaya Swaha Iram Somaya Irannamama Om Prajapate Swaha Iram Prajapate Irannamama Om Indraya Swaha Iram Indraya Irannamama Om Bhuragne Swaha Iram Agne Irannamama Om Bhurvayave Swaha Iram Vayave Irannamama Om Swaradityaya Swaha Iramarithyaya Irannamama Om Bhurbhuva Swaragni Vayavaritevyah Swaha Iramagni Vayavaritevyah Irannamama. And now we ask you to join us in the Gayatri Mantra, page 96. Can we all sit up and clasp our hands and chant this mantra? And with this mantra, we're asking, O God, O Supreme Being, cause of all manifestations in the universe, source of all existence, intelligence, and bliss, we meditate upon your adorable nature. May you illumine and inspire our intellect. Om Pure Bhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurrbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurrbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. हे दयालु परमात्मन, आप अपने असीम कृपा से हमारे सदा रक्षा करते हैं। आप ही हमारे जीवन आधार है। अपने सेवकों के दुखों को दूर करके उनको सुख देने वाले हैं। आप सर्वत्र सुप्रतिष्ठ और सुप्रसिद्ध है। आप सर्वोत्तम, शुद्ध, पवित्र और ज्ञान स्वरूप है। आपसे ही यहाँ सारा जगत उत्पन्न हुआ है। आप ही सकल शुभ गुणों की खान है। आपका हम प्रतिदिन ध्यान करें और आप हमें विवेकशीलता, धारणावती मेधा, सद्बुद्धि प्रदान करें। स्विष्टकृत आहुति, मोहन भोग आहुति। Om Yadyasya Karmanothyaricham Yadvanyunamihakaram Agnishtat Shrishtakrit Vidya Sarvam Shrishtam Sahotam Karotu Me Agnaye Shrishtakrite Sahutaute Sarva Prayaschittahutinam Kamanam Samardhayatre Sarvanah Kaman Samardhaya Swaha. Idamagnaye Srishtakrite Irannamama Prajapat Ahuti, silent offering. Om Swaha Idam Prajapate Irannamama. May we all stand for Purnahuti. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. And with take some ghee on our fingers. We're going to place it as close as we can to the fire to absorb this energy and have this energy permeate our bodies as we go throughout this week, and we take this good energy out of this mandir. Om Tanupagneyasi Tanva me pahi Om Ayurdagneyasi Ayur me dehi Om Varchodagneyasi Varcho me dehi Om Agneyan me Tanva Unam Tanva aprina Om Medha me deva Savita adadhatu Om Medha me devi Saraswati adadhatu Om Medha me yashvinau Deva vadhatha puskara Angasparsha. Om Vapchama apyayatam Om Pranashchama apyayatam Om Chakshushchama apyayatam Om Shrotam chama apyayatam Om Yasho balam chama apyayatam. Pujani.
पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए छोड़ देवे कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए वेद की गावे रचाए सत्य को धारण करे हर्ष में हो मग्न सारे शोक सागर से तरे अश्वमेधा दिक रचाए यज्ञ पर उपकार को धर्म मर्यादा चलाकर लाभ दे संसार को स्वर्त भाव मीते हमारा प्रेम पथ विस्तार हो मम का सारथक एक में व्यवहार हो हाथ जोर झुकाए मस्तक हाथ जोर झुकाए मस्तक वंदना हम कर रहे नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा आपकी सब पर रहे प्रभु आपकी सब पर रहे प्रभु आपकी सब पर रहे ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हे मनुष्य सब सुखी हो, कोई न हो दुखारी, सब हो निरोग भगवन, धन धान्य के भंडारी। भाद्रभावधे के सनमाघ के पति कहो, दुखिया न कोई होवे, सृष्टि में प्राणधारी, हे सब सुखी हो।
That brings us to the end of Havan. And we're now moving to the second part of our satsang this morning. For anyone who joined us later in the program, namaste and welcome, especially to those who are online and not with us here in the mandir. But for those of you who made the time to come out this morning, it's very nice to see a full mandir. We welcome you and we thank you for coming out. We'll start off this part of our program with just a little message from our Chairman of Trustees, Paisaga Rechpal.
Thank you very much, Pahendarshani. Revered Pandits, Panditas, fellow devotees, namaste. Let me take this opportunity on behalf of the Arya Spiritual Center to welcome all of you here this morning to our regular Sunday morning satsang, whether you're here at the Mandir or you're watching online. This is very, very nice to see on a very beautiful day, to see so many of you take the time to come out and be here at Mandir this morning. I'm really, really happy. And I encourage all of you who are in the tri-state area, if you can be here on Sunday morning, please come out and join us here every Sunday morning. As you know, we had a very busy busy calendar in April, in March. And I don't have to tell you, the Hindu calendar is full of items where we have a lot of items on the calendar which we celebrate. And you will hear more in terms of announcements, in terms of what we have, the upcoming programs. But we want to thank everyone who participated in those recent programs, whether it's the Phagwa Parade, whether it's the Arya Samaj Day for celebrations and foundation celebrations. We want to thank all of you who came out and actually graced those occasions. And, one of the things that I noticed is that we streamed last Sunday, the program last Sunday, and we had a record attendance watching that program online. One of the things that we've not seen so far. So with these few words, I just want to, and one other thing I want to say, I know in the past week you've been hearing, and there's a lot of concern about what some people heard in terms of what the Arya Spiritual Center is doing about the grounds. And I just want to assure you, the Arya Spiritual Center has its own plans for the grounds. There's a short-term plan and there's a long-term plan. So no one else, and if you don't hear it from me or a member of the executive or president of the Samaj, then it's not a plan from the Arya Spiritual Center. I want to thank you, and I want to tell you that we do have plans for the land and for the Arya Spiritual Center. Thank you, and namaste.
Thank you, Paisagar. Our next item we'll do a congregational bhajan led by Pitaji Sohan Singh Ji. But before we move into that bhajan, to add on to Paisagar's message and announcements, we love to see so many youths here. We welcome you, and if you notice, we kept saying the pages. That was for the youths. We would like them to get involved in Havan and Sandhya and all of our programs. So next week, youths, it would be the youth-led satsang. That means that the youths we would like them to lead. So we would like to see you again next week. And if you're comfortable, we're going to ask you next week to sit at the Vedi, and we'll have someone show you how to do Havan. Okay, and we'll have other youths sit with you. So we look forward to seeing you next week. So we'll now go into our congregational bhajan, and it's congregational. So we'll let you know the page, and we'd like to see you with your Atma Geet. And if you could just follow along with us, that would be really nice. Boys, I'll get you an Atma Geet.
Namaste again. And so it's on page 100. And this bhajan talks about the need for God in our family, especially as we join with our Mahila group this morning to perform, or we have are performing this special yajna in honor of World Abuse Awareness Month. What I would also like to say that since it's a Mahila-led program, but that does not affect our pitajis, our brothers to join. You know, sometimes we get the feeling that because it's Mahila-led, only our mothers and sisters are allowed to come for this satsang. I just want to reiterate that it's for all members and all well-wishers to join when our Mahila is leading. हे दया में आपका हम हो सदा धार हो, आपकी भक्तों से ही हर पूरा यह परिवार हो। हे दया में आपका हम हो सदा आधार हो, आपकी भक्तों से ही हर पूरा यह परिवार। छोड़ देवी काम घोर, क्रोध मद मोह। छोड़ देवी काम घोर, क्रोध को मद मोह को। शुद्ध और निर्मल हमारा सर्वदा चार हो, सर्वदा आचार हो। हे दया में आपका हम को सदा हार हो, आपकी भक्तों से ही भरपूर यह प्रेम से मिलजुल के सारे गीत गाए आपकी। प्रेम से मिलजुल के सारे गीत गाए आपकी। दिल में बहता आपका ही, दिल में बहता आपका ही प्रेम पारावा रहो, प्रेम पारावा। हे दया में आपका हम हो सदा दार हो, आपकी भक्ति से ही भरपूर यह परिवार। जय पिता जय जय पिता, हम जय तुम्हारी गा रहे। जय पिता जय जय पिता, जय तुम्हारी गा रहे। रात दिन घर में हमारी, रात दिन घर में हमारी, आपकी जयकार हो, आपकी जयकार हो। हे दया में आपका हमको सदा भार हो, आपकी भक्तों से ही पूरा यह परिवार हो। हे दया में आपका हम, हे दया में आपका हम, हे दया में आपका हम।
Thank you so much. And that was, like I said, a congregational bhajan. And what I noticed was that everyone had their Atma Geet out. That was really nice. And anyone who didn't have an Atma Geet, I saw a buddy system going on. And talking about a buddy system, the Mahila has launched an initiative where the members of the Mahila have been buddying up to learn the 10 principles of the Arya Samaj. We can read the English, but we've been buddying up to learn the Hindi. And I think that's been going really well. And we'd like to extend that challenge to everyone here and everyone who's online. If you would like to practice, you can buddy up with someone or you could form a group. That's okay. And it's like a study group. And it's our challenge to you to learn the 10 principles of the Arya Samaj. Because if you notice, every week we'll have the same individuals doing it, but we would like to see different people come up here and do the 10 principles for us. And that challenge goes out to you as well, our youths. So at this time, I'd like to invite Behin Shivi and Devika Ji to do the 10 principles. You can follow along with us. I think we're trying to get it up on screen. If we don't get it up on time, you have it at the back of your Vedic Aradhana, and you also have it at the back of the Atma Geet. I think it's on 315 in the Atma Geet, 313.
Namaste, everyone.
Arya Samaj ke 10 niyam.
God is the primary cause of all spiritual.
सब सत्य विद्या और जो पदार्थ विद्या से जाने जाते हैं, उन सब का आदि मूल परमेश्वर है.
God is the primary cause of all spiritual and physical sciences and of everything known through their means.
ईश्वर सच्चिदानंद स्वरूप निराकार सर्वशक्तिमान न्यायकारी दयालु अजन्मा अनंत अनादि अनुपम सर्वधार सर्वेश्वर सर्वव्यापक सर्वंतरयामी अजर अमर अभय नित्य पवित्र और सृष्टि करता है, उसी की उपासना करनी योग्य है.
God is existent, intelligent, and blissful. He is formless, omnipotent, just, kind, unborn, endless, unchangeable, beginningless, unequaled, the support of all, the Lord of all, omnipresent, immanent, unaging, immortal, fearless, eternal, holy, and the creator of the universe. He alone should be communed with.
वेद सब सत्य विद्याओं का पुस्तक है. वेद का पढ़ना पढ़ाना सुनाना सब आर्यों का परम धर्म है.
Veda is the scripture of all true knowledge. Reading, teaching, hearing, and reciting the Veda is the first duty of all Aryans.
सत्य को ग्रहण करने और असत्य को छोड़ने में सर्वदा उद्यत रहना चाहिए.
One should always be prepared to accept truth and reject falsehood.
सबका धर्म अनुसार अर्थात सत्य और असत्य को विचार करके करने चाहिए.
All work should be done in keeping with righteousness, that is, after due reflection over right and wrong.
संसार का उपकार करना इस समाज का मुख्य उद्देश्य है, अर्थात शारीरिक, आत्मिक और सामाजिक उन्नति करना.
To do good to the whole world is the main object of this Samaj, that is, to improve the physical, spiritual, and social states of human experience.
सबसे प्रीति पूर्वक धर्मानुसार यथा योग्य बरतना चाहिए.
One should have dealings with all in accordance with love, law, and propriety.
अविद्या का नाश और विद्या की वृद्धि करनी चाहिए.
One should always promote knowledge and dispel ignorance.
प्रत्येक को अपनी ही उन्नति में संतुष्ट न रहना चाहिए, किंतु सबकी उन्नति में अपनी उन्नति समझनी चाहिए.
No one should remain content with his or her own prosperity. Individual prosperity should be considered in the prosperity of all.
सब मनुष्य को सामाजिक सर्वहितकारी नियम पालने में परतंत्र रहना चाहिए और प्रत्येक हितकारी नियम में सब स्वतंत्र रहे.
Everyone should be bound in following altruistic social rules. However, in matters relating to personal welfare, let all be free.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Auntie Shivi and Auntie Devika, for doing the 10 principles for us. Our next item is a bhajan from Bhai Deepak, and he has asked for it to be another communal bhajan. We'll have 3 mics on the stage. He's asked for members of the Mahila to join him. He'd like it to be a group item. So if you'd like to sing along with Bhai Deepak, please come on stage. It's on page 1. He chose a very easy one for us.
Ben Vijay, Ben Sudesh, now you guys come.
He
come
wants us on
stage.
stage.
He wants
So-
He wants
so-
us to be a communal bhajan
Yes.
with the Mahila. Come, sir, and Ben Devika, come, all of you come.
So while you are getting on stage, I'll just make an announcement. The family of the late Mataji Pulmati Bunsidhor is joining everyone to participate in the Shraddhanjali Havan, which is the memorial satsang, here at the Arya Spiritual Center on Saturday, May 11th at 10 a.m. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Paisagar. He has the flyer. He can give you the number for more information. But again, everyone is invited for the memorial satsang for the late Pulmati Bunsidor, and that will be here at the Arya Spiritual Center on May 11 at 10 a.m. Okay, we are ready, and we are on page 1, Ajantere.
Namaste. Very easy bhajan. We all know this.
Bhagavan. भगवन राह दिखारी कदम कदम पर किरण बिछारी भगवन किरण बिछारी ओ कदम कदम पर किरण बिछारी भगवन किरण बिछारी इन्हीं को प्रभु प्रधारी इन्हीं को प्रभु प्रधारी ज्योति से पहचान ज्योति से पहचान आज अंधेरे में है हम इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान तो है संतान तिहारी प्रभु संतान तिहारी हम तो है संतान तिहारी प्रभु संतान तिहारी तेरी दया के हम अधिकारी प्रभु है अधिकारी हो तेरी दया के हम अधिकारी प्रभु है हम अधिकारी दुनिया होए सुखी हमारी दुनिया होए सुखी हमारी ऐसा दे वरदान ऐसा दे वरदान आज तेरे में है हम इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान
Thank you. Thank you, Pai Deepak, for leading that. And you see what we can do when we come to Mandir. So all of you who are online, if you're available, summer is coming, come join us. And also, did you see the power of the Mahila? He wanted to go in his own direction and they just changed the whole direction of the song. So that's what the Mahila does. For the next item, we have the announcements. I'm going to ask Auntie Joan to do that, and then I'll add in some announcements. And after that, we'll go into the pravachan.
Thanks, Darsh. Namaste, everyone. And now for the Sunday morning announcements. I'm not sure if they're going to be put up there. But here at the Arya Spiritual Center, we do offer a variety of programs. The first is a Thursday evening satsang class. These are held via Zoom from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. and they're held by Pandit Deepak Ramanji. And if you are interested, please reach out to Pandit Deepak Ji for the Zoom link. And I think any one of us in the Mandir, members of our spiritual center, may be able to give you that information. If you would like to be a part of our Mandir even further, as you could see today, the Mahila was the leading group. And next week, it's going to be our youth. So we do have a variety of programs indeed. We have our major pandits, we have our Mahila group, and then we have our youths. And so if you would like to be a part of our Mahila, please reach out to Pandita Nirvani, who is spearheading that. She is coordinating the Mahila. But again, any one of us in the Mahila will be able to give you that information. We also have our youth program, and that has been coordinated by our dear Diana Ji, Diana Ramsamuj. So Diana has monthly meetings with the youths. I know sometimes it's virtual, sometimes it's in person. But again, any one of our youths and one of our leading youths is here, Deepak Ji. He can be able to give you some information on that. Two other announcements. One is our dear Pandit Ramlal Ji, who passed away a few years ago. His daughter, Ben Geeta Balgoben, and her dear husband, Hemo Balgoben, they are observing the Punya Tithi Havan. That's the memorial service for their Mausi, who passed away last year. So this year is going to be the 1-year anniversary of that event. And they're having that here on Saturday, May 11th. I am not quite sure of the time. It may be 1 p.m., but I can get that information to you. So please join that family here. Bangita, Banhemo are members of Arya Spiritual Center, and we would like to see our Arya Spiritual Center family as well as others who will be attending. At this time also, our camp is coming up, and this is particularly for our parents and for our youths. Our camp is coming up in July. We start the first week of July. And applications are available. They are online. If you would like that to be sent to you, any one of us can do that. I can do that. By Diana is coordinator, by Devi as camp director. So those applications are available. There's a nominal fee for the first child and a discount for any other children. We are also soliciting volunteers for our camp. Every year we do need volunteers to help us in the kitchen, to help us with maintenance, to help us with teaching our programs. So there's the academic part, there's the other maintenance part, there's the culinary skills that are needed. If you would like to prepare a special bhojan for our kids at the camp, please, we are willingly accepting those kinds of contributions. And of course, then we never leave without asking for donations. That's one of my pleasures. I love to ask for donations for the mandir. So any amount of donations would be welcomed. It could be donations in kind, in service, and monetary donations as well. So please make your donations generously. Can be done through PayPal, through Zelle, through check, in person, whatever way possible. I'll be happy to take those donations for you if they're in check and in cash. And then generally for the mandir, if you wish to make a paperless donation and you can't do so in person, you can now do so via PayPal and Zelle. As I've said before, there's a QR code that you could scan. It's on the screen. Our address, our email address for those who like to send us checks, it's ARYA Spiritual Center, CENTRE @gmail.com. So that's it. I'm going to pass it on back to Darshini, so she can make the additional announcements. And I just want to say what a pleasure it has been to be here this morning to participate in the Mahila program.
Thank you, Auntie Joan. We also have some applications for the camp at the back on the glass case. So on your way out, if you'd like to grab some, please do so. We also, July is a very busy month here. So we have the camp, and I think that runs from July 1st to the 14th. And then the following weekend is the Global Arya Summit, the Mahisammelan. And that's going to run from July 18 to the 21st. And that's taking place at Hofstra University. Auntie Sati is here today. She can give you more information. But I did look online, and I believe, if I'm right, that if you register before May 1st, it's the cost is less than if you register after. I believe, yeah, I believe so. I looked at it. So you can get on that website if you're interested and register for the passes for the Sammelan. I think those are all the announcements. So I'm going to pass it over to Panita Nirvaniji to do the pravachan for today.
Namaste, everyone. Whether you're joining us in Mandir or you're joining us virtually, my humble namaste to you. Dear Panditas, Pandits, Mataji, Pitaji, Bhaiyo or Beheno, namaste. If you could please join me in this prayer, it's on page 122 of the Vedic Aradhana. Om Manu Vrataha Pituho Putro Matra Bhavatu Sammanaha Jayapatye Madhumatim Vacham Varatu Shantiva. And this mantra is saying, let the child become the desired wishes of the father and be in tune with the mind of the mother. Let the wife speak with a pleasant voice to her husband. This will bring peace to all members of the family. And we should add, likewise, let the husband speak in a pleasant voice to the wife. The third week of April is designated Animal Cruelty and Violence Against Human Awareness Week. And my message today is focused on domestic violence. Because violence against animals is a huge topic, and one that I could not adequately undertake today. Violence overall is very broad, and it must be addressed. But given the time in which I have to deliver this message, I chose to narrow it down to domestic violence. You may have noticed this morning that our Hawan was dedicated to family, because the happiness and well-being of the entire family is the foundation of a solid community. I'm sure you would agree with me on this. And one of the fundamental requirements of a happy family is that the minds of all the family members must be united and in tune with each other for a common goal. In the beginning phase of the formation of the family, which is the Vivaha Sanskar, the Pandit chants a mantra where the Dulha and the Dulhan make offering. Om Yadeshi Manasa Duram Disho Nupavamanuva Hiranya Parano Vaikaranaha Satvam manmanasam karotu. And this mantra is saying, O bride and groom, you voluntarily and mindfully accept each other. Be like the wind and the luminous sun, which despite the distance, they keep in contact. May God make both of your minds concordant and united. And that's what we're focusing on from this mantra, and from the other mantra that I'll be doing is the unity of the mind. What is concordant? Agreement, no? When partners' minds are in agreement, we work towards a common goal. And if you notice sometimes, we're having a Hawan, we're having Sunday Hawan, and a family is sitting to celebrate some kind of achievement, or they're sitting together to celebrate a birthday. And one of the mantras that we chant is from the Atharva Ved. And while we're chanting this mantra, the Yajmans offer ahuti. And this mantra, you can join me. It's on page 122 of the Vedic Aradhana. And Pandit Prakash did do this mantra for a Havan today. Om Sahridayam Samanasyam Vidwan Vishwam Krinomi Vaha Anyo Anyamabhi Haryata Vatsam Jatame Vagnya. And the meaning of this mantra is, O dear ones, may you have the same feelings towards each other. May your minds be in harmony and free from hatred in dealings. Again, may your minds be in harmony and free from hatred in your dealings. May you love each other just like a cow who has given birth to a new calf. We're asking for the minds of the family members to be in harmony. And this is a common theme in life. And it's a very common theme in Sanatan Dharma. And you'll notice that at any sanskar we do, one of the things that we pray for is for family to have a common mind, to have unity, families' minds to have unity, so that they can reach that common goal. And we continuously pray for everyone's minds to be in sync, not only in our near family, but in our extended family as we become a community. However, in reality, this harmony gets disrupted. And one disturbing instance when this harmony is disrupted is in the case of domestic violence. What is domestic violence? And unfortunately, this has become a very common term, and we hear of it in all spheres of life. And it's been happening from time immemorial. It's not new, but because of the information that's available, it's becoming more and more to the surface, and we're hearing more and more about it. In a nutshell, domestic violence occurs in a domestic setting, either in marriage or in a cohabitation setting. The goal of my message today is only to bring awareness and to educate on domestic violence. As this week we are observing the awareness of violence, we thought that this would be a good time to bring this to light. And at the end of this presentation, we'll be sharing information on resources, so please stay tuned for that. Why did I choose to discuss this topic at Mandir? I mean,
this is domestic violence we're talking about. We don't talk about this stuff in Mandir. Why did I choose to do this today? Well, domestic violence does occur very commonly in the immigrant community. And what the research has shown is that it is underreported in the immigrant community. And we all here come from the immigrant community. Domestic violence is, or domestic abuse, I should say, is a very private crime. And within our community, we're a very private people. So rarely is domestic abuse reported. Some victims feel that by reporting domestic abuse, they're betraying their partners. Some feel that the authorities should not be involved in this. This is an issue between partners, between spouses, or however you're living as partners, that this is a private thing, that they should not involve the authorities in this. And some others feel, the abused or the victim feel, this is trivial, you know, I shouldn't, this does not need to be reported. And some others fear reprisal, so they don't report it. Domestic violence is perpetrated against both men and women. And the occurrence of domestic violence is staggering. As we can imagine, more in our community, domestic violence against men is underreported. And why is domestic violence against men underreported? So I don't know if you've heard of the term, the machismo effect. Anybody? Banjoon, you seem to be a little familiar with the machismo effect? No, with the terminology? It is coming from macho, and is, you know, it's that overt maleness. So that's one of the reasons that domestic violence against men is not reported, or it's underreported. You know, it's an exaggerated maleness. Some statistics show that 1 in 10 men experience physical abuse from their partners. 3 in every 10 women experiences physical or mental abuse from their partner. And what is even more distressing, 1 in every 4 child witnesses domestic violence in their home. Domestic violence is perpetrated in a number of different forms. It's not only physical abuse. It's psychological abuse, which can be verbal or nonverbal. It's intimacy abuse. It's stalking or cyber stalking. It's economic or financial abuse. Now, physical abuse is pretty self-explanatory. What is psychological abuse? Psychological abuse can occur verbally, you know, name calling and derogatory comments and, you know, words that are said to beat down that person. And psychological abuse, the goal of psychological abuse is to mentally and emotionally break down the victim. This type of abuse doesn't leave any physical marks, you know, I mean, there are no black and blues, there are no swollen eyes or anything like that, but it leaves really long-lasting effect. And, you know, it can include things like threat. It can include things like isolation from family and friends, and this is very damaging. And it can include a number of different things. It can, you know, that silent treatment, that is more damaging than we think about. One of the other forms of abuse is stalking. And with the advent of the internet, stalking has now graduated to cyber stalking. The other form of abuse that we talked about is economic abuse, also called financial abuse. In this type of abuse, the abuser or the dominant person takes control of the finances and denies that other person any financial autonomy or access to finances. What this does, it makes that person totally financially dependent on the abuser. If I need money, I have to ask my abuser for money. And I have to list why I need this money. And with that comes so much questions. Can you think of what that does for me mentally? If I have to make a list of why I need money to buy grocery, how much I'm going to spend on this grocery, and then at the end being told, no, you don't need that money. That is a form of domestic abuse. Now, what are the signs of domestic abuse? Remember, some victims are isolated, so if there's physical abuse, the next person can't see those physical signs, so, they don't know that abuse is taking place, physical abuse is taking place. Some of the warning signs that we can see or we can observe from the abuser are overt jealousy. And, they exhibit very controlling behavior. And sometimes this can be very flattering to the victim. Like the victim feels so protected. Oh, you know what? This person is very jealous of me. He really loves me, or she really loves me. She's very jealous. But that's not healthy. I mean, some degree of it, yes, but excessively, it's unhealthy, and it's a sign of abuse. Isolation from friends and family. By isolating you from friends and family, they take away that support system. And that is one very telling sign of abuse. When someone is hypersensitive or they get angered very easily, these are all signs of abuse, or these are all signs that, you can look for. And mind you, these things these attributes are also mildly in regular people. I mean, it does not necessarily mean that if someone is hypersensitive or if someone gets agitated that they're an abuser, So you have to be very careful when, looking for these signs, and not as soon as you see someone is agitated, oh, he's an abuser, or she's an abuser. Look for a combination of these signs, and then look for the signs in the partner. Abusers also exhibit the tendency to be cruel to animals and to children. What are some of the signs that we can look for in a victim of abuse? Of course, we talked about the physical signs, the bruises, the unexplained bruises. And one of the things that the victim does is makes excuses for these physical signs, Oh, I fell down the step, or I walked into my glass door, So these are things to be mindful of. Look out for depression, anxiety, and personality changes. And, if you see someone that has been socially active or is a social person, and then you start seeing signs of withdrawal, be mindful, pay attention, because we can be of more help than we know. If we see this person has stopped spending time with family and friends, or if they are with a family or friend, if they're out, having dinner or something like that, they get a text and they're like, oh, I have to leave, I have to go, oh, I have to go. These are signs to be mindful of, and these are signs to pay attention to, because there's that fear of angering the partner. So, these are all things to keep in mind as we observe these things. And it's our responsibility as a community to pay attention to these things, because sometimes, you know, we can observe when a family is in crisis, but these, what I'm giving you here are actual signs to, and you know, behaviors to pay attention to. Now, why do we need to pay attention to domestic abuse, and why do we need to stop domestic abuse? There are a couple of reasons. Domestic abuse impedes progress in a number of areas. There's economic loss because the workforce is reduced because of absenteeism. This, of course, impacts the family, and then there is that ripple effect on the economy. Domestic violence contributes to a number of mental and emotional illnesses that can trigger physical symptoms and illnesses like heart disease, heart condition, high blood pressure, and you know, you may not notice, but there are a number of immune system conditions that are triggered by stress. And very, very importantly, we need to pay attention and to bring about awareness to domestic abuse and try to stop domestic abuse so that we can stop the cycle. Because it has been, studies have shown that children who are witness to continuous abuse, they either in their adulthood become perpetrators or become victims themselves. You know, it's a privilege to be born into this world. It's a privilege to have this human body and this mind. And it is our responsibility to take care of this body and this mind in whatever way we need to. And sometimes, you know, it's being said that if we take care of ourselves, it's selfish. No. If we don't take care of ourselves, we won't be able to take care of the next person. And we do, as parents, have a responsibility to facilitate the healthy growth and development of our children. And that starts with me. And as I'm thinking about this, and as I was going through this research, this mantra came to mind. Can you play for me, Deepa? Om Somo Evano Rajma Manu Shri Prajaha Ave Muktakshakras Asi Ranstirati Tubha Yam Asau. And you'll come across this mantra in the Simantonayan Sanskar. This is a prenatal sanskar that is performed. The expecting parents perform this sanskar when the mother is just finishing up the first trimester of the pregnancy. And is that correct, Pandit Prakashji? And what this mantra is saying, our lives will be filled with each other, with peace and tranquility like the moon. Our conduct should be like the boundaries of the course of a river. Our path of life should be like the calmness of the moon in the sky, and cool like the water of the river. Darkness and brightness come in life, flood and drought come in the river, and life has its ups and downs, but the coolness remain in the moon and in the river. Similarly, may peace always remain with us. Now, in this mantra, the father takes the lead, laying out what a calm family life should look like. By ending this mantra saying, may peace always remain with us. This is a significant moment for the family. The mother is carrying the child, and we know from our sanskars, when the child is growing within the mother, the child is able to feel and feel these vibrations. And this is an auspicious moment when the father is making this pledge of peace to this unborn child and to the mother. So it is both parents, it's a responsibility of both parents to create and foster peace for their child, So yes, anyone experiencing any form of domestic abuse must seek help. More so if children are in that household. Parents and both parents owe a responsibility to create a safe, healthy, and peaceful environment for their child because they made that pledge to that child. And we're talking in Sanatan Dharma where we perform these sanskars. Beyond Sanatan Dharma, in other religions and in other relationships, from the time that mother conceives, she pledges, in fact, both parents pledge to that child that I will create a safe environment for you. And that is what they do once that child is conceived. In addition to the effects that we mentioned above, the effects of children, the effects on children, the effects that domestic abuse has on children, domestic abuse also undermines the self-esteem and the self-confidence of children, rendering them incapable of making decisions as adults. Some exhibit social awkwardness. Some have trust issues. Others turn to substance abuse to suppress the pain and to cope. The effects of domestic violence manifest itself differently in different individuals. How are we to get help for domestic violence? And our producer, Bahen Lavina, is going to put up a flyer with information on resources to get help. If you are a perpetrator of domestic violence, or if you know an abuser, get help or encourage that person to get help. If you are a victim or if you know of a victim, please get help or please encourage that victim to seek help. The information for the domestic abuse hotline is going to be displayed now. And Auntie Jas, if you're looking, thank you very much for sharing this information so that we can share it with our community. And please share this beyond our community. The flyer is available. It has been on our Facebook page. Please share it so that others can get this help. I don't know if you listened to the news this week, Mayor Adams announced the launch of a pilot program to rapidly connect families fleeing domestic abuse with permanent housing. For those of us in the immigrant community, please embrace help. There is counseling available. Do not be afraid to ask for help. My hope today and my prayer today in presenting this message is for us all to take steps to reduce domestic abuse. My humble namaste, and thank you all for listening. Namaste. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Panita Nirvaniji, for introducing that topic and for, I guess, starting the conversation on domestic violence. This brings us to the end of our satsang this morning. Before we close, just two more announcements that I missed. On May 5th, which is the next Sunday, or the Sunday after, we have our Purohit graduation ceremony here. A few of us did that class, that course, and we are graduating. So for all of the participants who are involved in that class, please show up to graduation. But if you'd like to support us, please join us as well. And then I think the following week would be May 12th, and that is Mother's Day. And as usual, we have our Grand Mother's Day celebration. So we're inviting all families to come out to celebrate Mother's Day with us. And both of those will be at 9 a.m. during our regular satsang. Okay, so I think we've covered all the announcements. Bhai Deepak is going to lead us into Aarti, and we would like to say a special thank you to Lavina, Bahin Lavina, for producing today, and for Auntie Boj and everyone else who made Bhojan for us. Let us all stand for Aarti.
We will all sing the Arti Bhajan. Take a microphone if you would like to join us. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Jai Jagadish Hare भक्त जनों के संकट भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख बिनसे मन का स्वामी दुख बिनसे मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता तुम मेरी शरण गहु किसकी स्वामी शरण गहु किसकी तुम बिना न दूजा तुम बिना न दूजा आश करो जिसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूरन परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूरन परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता स्वामी तुम पालन करता दीन दयाल कृपालु दीन दयाल कृपालु कृपा करो भरता ओम जय जगदीश हरे विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा स्वामी पाप हरो देवा श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ संतन की सेवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट, भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे। अथ शांतिपातः। ओम द्यः शांतिर अंतरिक्षं शांतिः, पृथिवी शांतिरापः शांति, औषधयः शांति, वनस्पतयः शांति, विश्वे देवाः शांति, ब्रह्मा शांति, सर्वं शांति, शांतिरेव शांतिः सामा शांतिरेधि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। प्रेम से बोलो ओमकार भगवान की जय। प्रेम से बोलो वैदिक सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। प्रेम से बोलो मर्याद पुरुषोत्तम श्री रामचंद्र की जय। प्रेम से बोलो योगेश्वर श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। प्रेम से बोलो जगत गुरु महर्षि दयानंद की जय। प्रेम से बोलो वैदिक सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। भोजन मंत्र।
ॐ
अन्नपते अन्नस्य नो देहि, यन्निवस्य शुष्मिनः प्रप्रदातारं तारिष, ऊर्जनो देहि द्विपदे चतुष्पदे। ओम शांतिः शांतिः शांतिः। Namaste, the arty is coming around. And we'd like to thank all of those who prepared refreshment for us today. And I really want to thank all the members of the Mahila for such a wonderful service this morning. You excelled this morning. We thank you guys and we support you in your endeavors. Beautiful topic, Panita Nirvani. And I'm sure there will be a number of you can add to that. No mistake.